only.
Now, many thanks for making time to be with us here on the Spotlight on this 9th day of October 2023. Now, the requirement to have Parliament, of course, give the green light for the privatization of various state agencies has been scrapped, as the President today signed the Privatization Bill 2023 into law. Now, this is in a move, of course, to ensure efficiency of all state corporations. That means all state agencies or corporations that are incurring losses can now be privatized. The signing of the bill comes just months after President William Ruto hinted at the government trying to, of course, privatize some of the state corporations making losses. Now, apart from that, all the sugar companies, or other sugar companies, beg your pardon, in the larger western or the vast western region have reason to smile. Reason being, the Cabinet today did receive the certification from Parliament, of course, writing off the debt owed to the government by all public sugar mills here in the country. Debt accruing over 100 billion shillings. Now, the government is set, or is rather key, and like President William Ruto alluded to when he visited the vast western region, Kenya, to the vast western region of this country, the government is now keen on ensuring that it can be able to revive all the sugar sectors, or the sugar sector in this country, it being, of course, a key pillar of the Kenya's economy. Now, that and many more other stories on our bulletin tonight. Remember, you can watch this bulletin live across our social media platforms on YouTube and Facebook at Lookuptv. First of all, let's have a look at what's making headlines.
Tonight on the Spotlight, President William Ruto signs the Privatization Bill 2023 into law. The court has temporarily blocked the government from deploying hundreds of police personnel to Haiti. And the cabinet has endorsed the write-off of debt public sugar mills owe the government following parliamentary approval.
Well, thank you. I am Ian Kitani, and our sign language interpreter is Josephine Oko. We kickstart the bulletin with the privatization bill, and President William Ruto has signed the Privatization Bill 2023 into law. The bill repeals the Privatization Act of 2005, which was enacted before the current constitution. The bill removes the bureaucracy in the privatization of non-strategic or loss-making government entities. The ceremony, which took place on Monday at State House in Kisumu, was witnessed by Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula.
Just a few weeks after a section of opposition allied lawmakers blasted the government over the planned privatization of state corporations, President William Ruto has today signed the Privatization Bill of 2023 into law. The signing of the bill into law now means the requirement for parliamentary approval has been scrapped, with the government expected to establish a privatization authority that will oversee the privatization of state corporations incurring losses, with privatization methods to be used including initial public offer of shares, sale of shares by public tender, sale resulting from the exercise of preemptive rights, and any other method that may be determined by cabinet. The signing of the bill into law comes months after the head of state hinted at the government intent to privatize state corporations making losses in a bid to increase efficiency. However, Azimio has opposed the move, noting that it is aimed at profiting a few individuals. After signing the bill into law, the president proceeded to Kisumu Yardship for the commissioning of MV Uhuru 2 that was launched by former President Uhuru Kenyatta, while calling on the county governments within the Lake region to pump more funds into fish farming in a bid to create more job opportunities.
We can all agree today that the Nyanza region is going to play a leading role in the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, not only because it typifies our national potential as a country, but also because it is endowed with the capacity to make unique contributions to growth and development. The region is an undisputed leader in the production of crops like cotton, rice, oilseed, sorghum, sweet potatoes, and its famous crop sugar. We have invested in mechanization and extension services together with the revival of irrigation projects.
The president assured sugarcane farmers that the cabinet has received the certification that will see the writing off of all debts owed by sugar factories.
It was briefed of the report that today the certificate from Parliament was submitted to the National Treasury for the ultimate write-off of 117 billion debts that have for a long time saddled the sugar mills, the 5 sugar mills in this region. Companies are now poised for new investment and new transformation going into the future. In that same report that we received today, government will now be adjusting the budget. Hopefully by Friday this week or next week, we will be presenting to Parliament a new budget proposal that will make it possible for 1.7 billion shillings to be made available to these 5 mills.
Ian Kitani, Lookuptv.
Now, still on those sugar issues, and the cabinet has endorsed the write-off of debt, public sector mills or public sugar mills or the government following a parliamentary approval. Now, in the meeting Monday at State House in Kisumu, President William Ruto acknowledged the resolutions of the 2 houses on the reforms sanctioned by the cabinet for the turnaround of the sugar sector here in the country.
Tisha wiki hii tumepatiwa certificate sasa kutoka bunge ya write-off ya hizo madeni yote.
It is a cabinet meeting that reached resolutions which include write-off of debts public sugar mills owed to the government, which now is music to the sugar sector and farmers. The cabinet also agreed on waiving tax penalties and interest within 30 days. In 3 months' time, the cabinet has agreed to set plans for the payment of farmers' arrears and employees' salary arrears. The sugar companies owe a whopping 117 billion in bank loans, tax arrears and penalties, farmers and employees' dues. They also owe banks 65 billion shillings and 50 billion in taxes and nearly 2 billion in farmers' dues. Meanwhile, requests for proposal for the leasing of the 5 state-owned sugar mills will be published in a fortnight, a move that was supported by President William Ruto despite uproar from the locals.
Najua mumeniuliza ya kwamba ati leasing isifanyike hapa Soni. Hapana. That I don't agree with you, my friends.
The cabinet also endorsed a groundbreaking LPG growth policy aimed at transitioning households from the traditional fuels to the cleaner alternative of liquefied petroleum gas. Currently, 70% of Kenyans rely on inefficient and polluting biomass and kerosene for cooking. The proposed interventions include establishing common user LPG import terminals, distributing subsidized cylinders to poor households, promoting LPG use in educational institutions and within affordable housing units. These measures, the cabinet said, aimed at reducing consumer prices, enhance transparency and improve public safety, contributing to public health and environmental sustainability. In another strategic move, cabinet granted approval for the extensive redevelopment of Kenyan's Gogo hydro plant in Migori County. The project aims at elevating the plant's generation capacity and enhancing efficiency, bolstering power generation and stability in Western Kenya. The cabinet also gave its nod to the implementation of the Kenya Health Emergency Preparedness, Response and Resilience Project. The project is in collaboration with the World Bank and will include the establishment of vaccine production capacity at the Kenya Biovax Institute. In response to the challenges of vaccine apartheid and hoarding at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, the cabinet further approved the establishment of an interministerial committee to negotiate the pandemic treaty with the World Health Organization. To address transport safety, cabinet approved the establishment of the Kenya Transport Accident Investigation Bureau, tasked with comprehensive transport-related accident investigations and safety recommendations. In a bid to elevate Kenya's standing in the sporting world, cabinet approved construction and renovation of projects crucial for hosting the Africa Cup of Nations in 2027. In education, cabinet was briefed on progress being made in the implementation of the recommendations outlined in the report of the Working Party on education reforms. Brian Amwai, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Thank you very much, Brian Amwai, for that detailed story. Just to touch on the sugar sector, it is a win for not only the entire Western Kenya region, but as well the Nyanza region as well, with the economy of those particular counties heavily dependent on sugarcane farming and sugar processing, and that directly translates to the families, or of course the families in those particular counties being able to put food on the table, as quite a huge chunk of residents in those counties are heavily dependent on this sector through employment. Now, the court has temporarily blocked the government from deploying hundreds of police personnel to Haiti in a UN-approved mission aimed at helping the Caribbean nation tackle rampant gang violence. Now, the court order issued on Monday is valid until the 24th of October and followed a petition jointly filed by one of the opposition political parties and two Kenyans who say the decision to deploy the police officers outside the country is illegal. Now, according to the court document, the order bars Kenyan government officials, including the president and his interior minister, from deploying police officers to Haiti or any other country until 24th of October 2023. In July, Kenya pledged to offer 1,000 police officers to Haiti, appealed for international help with security personnel to assist in its battle against gangs blamed for spiraling violence in the country. Now, according to the petitioners, the deployment of police officers is not only nonsensical and irrational, but unconstitutional as well. Now, the decision to deploy did not involve public participation and is also unconstitutional because only the Kenya military can be deployed outside the country. Now, on Monday, the National Parliamentary Committee of the Department of Health met with the managers and directors of 8 hospitals involved in the alleged fraudulent NHIF payments that led to the revocation of their licenses and closing of their services at the hospitals. Stanley Ligaria with the details.
Chair, we do attach medical reports for these patients on the NHIF system. So it's not, okay, it may be a clerical error, but medical reports do accompany all claims, all notifications that we've done for treatment.
Edith Gatwere, administrator of JKM Hospital Level 4 of Nkobo with 120 employees capacity, faces a number of allegations, among them providing false claims to the NHIF that the facility could provide services similar to those of a Level 4 hospital, when the hospital lacked the capacity. However, the management of the hospital promised to rectify the mistakes that has left the hospital's reputation in limbo.
The loss which was incurred by NHIF, I don't know about it. The only thing I can answer here is about the registration. That I know it was ANCAP and NENA, but we shall rectify that.
So you did not do any arthroscopies in that place, no control-plastics that were done. You know what an arthroscopy is?
Yes.
Okay.
That one, Honorable Chair, it was done, but I would kindly wish if you would allow me to forward that question to the claims person who answer better.
But you can confirm that it was done?
Yeah, it was done.
Yet in your contract,
yes,
there is no, that is not part of the contract.
Okay, Honorable Chair, in the contract, arthroscopic is there in the contract. What the hospital does not have are the equipments.
Others who appeared before the committee include orthopedic surgeon Dr. Wachira Kioko from Afya Bora Private Level 4 Hospital located in Wanguru, Mwea, East Kirinyaga County, with among the accusations they are faced with including allegations that the doctor, one Allen Senei, faced with claims of performing more than 21 surgeries in a single day on January 7, 2023, receiving by fraudulent means more than 1.7 million shillings from NHIF. Comprehensive head examination MRI report claims of receiving 4.9 million shillings without those services in the hospital.
Honorable Chair, I'm aware of what you're talking about. This is a case that in 2021 there was alleged suspicion of fraud by our institution. I wish to inform Honorable Chair that this particular allegation was subjected to complete investigations.
Orthopedic surgeon Gerald Wasena, founder of St. Peter's Orthopedic in Udhiru along Waiyaki Way, turned up to answer against claims faced by.
The other day they called us, I think I'll be meeting them on Wednesday, I'm not sure. I hope they will have cleared with us.
The hospital is under investigations by the DCI for suspicious involvement in fraudulent claims at the NHIF by the hospital with an over 98% dependence on NHIF, providing cheap services compared to other hospitals of similar status. Sentiments rejected by Wasena, insisting that the hospital receives international funding from donors, which in return subsidizes the charges.
So I've discharged the patient on 5th. There is discrepancy on the date of admission in the file and the date of admission in NHIF portal. But for crying out loud, I've done the service. I've saved a life. What is more important? Do I wait for NHIF to approve? Then I offer the service so that I'm completely in line with the NHIF.
Stanley Lugaria, Lookuptv.
Thank you very much, Stanley Lugari. And that particular story brings us to the end of the first segment here on the Spotlight. We're going on a short commercial break. We'll be back with more stories making headlines tonight.
Mimi naitwa Simio Serem, nimekuja pikipiki yangu. Siku ile nilishinda, sikuamini mara ya kwanza bila nilipigiwa simu. Wakati nilipoona kwa TV akiniambia hivi pikipiki, akishika pikipiki itanisaidia kunibeba vitu kama mboga, nikitoa mboga kwa shamba na kwa soko. Naambia watu huko nyumbani wacheze tatu, kama ni wakishinda 30,000 anaongezea 10,000 bonus. Sasa hiyo bonus itanisaidia kutatua mambo ya fertilizer. Play
responsibly. This message has been approved by the BCLB.
Enjoy a getaway this Mashujaa weekend from as low as 14,000 shillings. Pamper yourself and your loved ones with 10% discount on spa facilities, live kids animators and activities, karaoke Friday and live DJ entertainment. For reservations and inquiries, call 0709 070 000.
We got good news for you. You have the opportunity to win up to 100,000 shillings cash money from Kuza Bees. It's easy to participate. Just open M-Pesa, Lipa na M-Pesa, account number 825454, account name right, Lookuptv, then deposit 99 shillings only. Remember, the more you participate, the more the chances of winning. Hurry now and be one of the winners of the Daily Cash Awards.
This game is BCLB licensed and is not open to persons under the age of 18 years. Play responsibly.
Are you AE?
Now, many thanks for staying with us. We continue with a bulletin, and the International Commission of Jurists has come out to oppose the death penalty. Now, during an event in Nairobi, ahead of the commemoration of the 21st World Day Against the Death Penalty, the ICJ argues that the death penalty is a violation of the right to life.
Kenya will join other African countries tomorrow to commemorate the 21st World Day Against the Death Penalty. on grounds that the law violates human rights, among them right to life.
If you look at the violations of their rights, it is related to sexual and gender-based violence, psychological, physical, emotional, and even as economic, as Julie says. So there's a combination of rights violated. So in addition to what Julie is saying, we're also spotlighting that women's rights are increasingly being violated through this process of applying the death penalty. And that's why we're saying, let it be abolished.
ICJ leaders have a reason to smile after a bill against this law was presented to court by Minority Leader Opiyo Wandayi, which seeks to overthrow the law. 101 Kenyans currently serving under the penalty.
Access to justice is not necessarily guaranteed in the question of life sentences and death penalty, because you find that the persons who are currently within death row are persons who are poor, vulnerable and marginalized, who in some cases did not have access to legal representation, which is a core fundament in the question of fair trial rights. So people do not get access to advocates. And if you don't have a clear representation strategy, you end up being actually put in prison because you did not get the right legal defense. So there's actually a violation on your right to legal representation.
According to the data analysis, in 1987, the last death penalty eviction was carried out in Kenya. 99 men serving death penalty, 2 women serving death penalty. In a sampling of 1,672 Kenyans, 40% of Kenyans were in favor of the abolition, 10% did not know either way, and 51% were in favor of the retaining. Among the East African countries include Kenya, Ethiopia, Sudan, South Sudan, Somalia, and Uganda. While in 2019, 106 states abolished death penalty worldwide. Total number of 30 countries in Africa implement death penalty.
Well, Kenya joins other African countries in the fight for abolishment of death penalty on grounds that this goes against the human rights, mentioning right to life as one of them. Led by the Minority Leader Opiyo Wandayi and the International Court Justice, they presented a petition that seeks to abolish this law. Mavin Getembe, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Many thanks, Mavin Getembe, for that particular story. Now moving forward, residents of Kinangopi in Nyandarua County are trying to come to terms with an incident where a 25-year-old man stabbed and killed a 65-year-old father in unclear circumstances. Now during the incident in Gitiri village near Engineer Town, the ex-convict seriously injured his brother who had come to the rescue of their father.
The cry of drugs addiction in the Mount Kenya region among the youths is gradually becoming unnerving to the residents. Now residents of Kinangop in Nyandarua County are trying to come into terms with an incident where a 25-year-old man stabbed and killed his 65-year-old father.
Na hata wakati amejifungia kwa nyumba, amejaribu kutolewa nje akakataa. Sasa kumerushwa tia ngazi huko, amekataa bado. Mpaka unaona nyumba imebomolewa mabati ndio atolewe.
During the incident in Gitiri village near Engineer Town, the ex-convict seriously injured his brother who had come to the rescue of their father.
Ndio tulikuwa kwanza kufika hapa. Alafu tukifika hapa tukakutana na kijana yake mmoja hapa. Tayari ameshadugwa tumekutana kwa gate. Tukifika karibu na yeye akaaguka.
This has come as it emerged that the suspect said to be a habitual drug user who for 2 years ago attacked the mother using a machete before he was locked in jail for over 6 months. According to a neighbor by the name Peter Minor, told all their distress, adding that the suspect had been arrested on several occasions for attacking his parents and kin, but was later released under unclear legal circumstances.
Sasa ni mtu hatari kwa hii boma. Hii boma yetu sasa, ametuweka nini? Waziwazi pia. Gina hii kama safari ya 4 sasa kufanya hii kujaribu kuua watu. Kama safari ya 4 sasa. Na sasa unaonekana sasa kukuja kwake tu hivi anakuja anaua. Sasa sisi tunajiuliza sasa hata akiwachiliwa akuje tena si ni kuua tu atakuja tu kuua.
A senior officer from the Engineer police station confirming the incident, he has added that the suspect would be arraigned in court with murder as the brother continues to receive treatment in hospital. Ill behavior among the youths is being attributed to drug and substance abuse.
Sisi kama wazazi wa hapa eneo hili tumekasirika sana. Juu kama hawa watoto watatuua sisi kama wazazi. Sasa tutafanya nini? Na ningeomba wazazi tujaribu kuwakeresha watoto wetu.
Ruga Eval, Lookuptv.
Well, indeed, a very sad state of affairs. Now, 4 suspects of robbery with violence who were caught on CCTV terrorizing residents of Kerugoya town in Kirinyaga County at night have been released on a 500,000 shillings bond each by Kerugoya court. Now, the 2 men and 2 ladies appeared before Principal Magistrate Alex Thuku to face robbery with violence charges.
Pleading not guilty before Kerugoya Chief Magistrate Alex Thuku, the 4 robbery with violence suspect James Murimi, Paul Masharia, Violet Wangeshi and Jacqueline Nyakio were released on 500,000 bond pending further investigations as ordered by the Chief Magistrate.
Now, without anybody taking care of, we will open a file and we'll make further orders as to where this should. So you come back on. Will be brought on 23rd, that is if you not have come out of it. When we mention the matter on 23rd,
on Monday last week, Magistrate Charity Kipkorir Ruto ordered the suspects to be detained at the Kerugoya police station for 4 more days after the prosecution argued that the suspects could be flight risk since they had disappeared to different locations after committing the crime. The Chief Magistrate further ruled that the retrieved CCTV footage showing the suspect in the hug will be kept as a critical evidence. Regan Meguran, Lookuptv.
That child is now without anybody taking care of.
Now, beg your pardon. Now, the spouse to the Deputy President, Pastor Dorcas Rigathi, now says the local brewers are fighting hard to undermine the fight against drug and substance abuse in the Mount Kenya region. Now, speaking in Karibuini, Nyeri County, the second lady said she is clearly aware of local illicit breweries are fighting for dominance, beg your pardon, and added that she'll work restlessly to see those companies brought down.
They are not happy and they are fighting, but this family, you cannot fight it. I can tell you, I'm standing on the altar. You will not be able to succeed against us because the work we are doing is the work of God and it will be done. We are going to save the boy child and we are going to save our country, and that is why we are here. And those who keep talking about this wonderful husband of mine, he's a good husband, and he's a good leader, and he's going to lead. We are on our knees. Yes, they said he will not get there. He's there by the grace of God. And with the power of God, he will remain there. And we are going to pray for him. Because you like hearing, that is what, it is a message coming from his wife.
Now, Bungoma Governor Kenneth Lusaka has assured the residents of Bungoma County that his government will entrust employment opportunities to those who qualify on merit and without political influence. The governor said this, expressing dissatisfaction from politicians who have been attempting to direct how he should work and employ staff.
While speaking during the swearing-in of Public Service Board members, Bungoma Governor Kenneth Lusaka expressed his dissatisfaction with external pressure from politicians who he blamed for attempting to direct how he should employ the staff.
Mimi ni governor, tuko na deputy governor, tuko na mbunge, tuko na senator, tuko na woman rep, kila mtu afanye kazi yake. Don't incite communities ati isipokuwa ati county secretary asipotoka hapa governor tunataka kupatia onyo. You will not direct me on what to do. The public service will interview and produce the best person to serve as a county public secretary. Sasa msinitishe.
Lusaka added that each elected leader to stick to his job, citing that he will not impose incompetent people or ghost workers in the county.
You know, the CEC Agriculture has been acting as a county secretary, so we did advertise. And thank you have done a good job. It was overwhelming, but we have advertised for a county secretary. Nataka niulize viongozi, kuna kazi vile tumepangiwa.
He has called upon people of Bungoma who possess qualifications for any county government advertised jobs to apply, stating that his administration will offer jobs through a competitive process without fear or favor. His sentiments appear contrary to political lobby groups who exert pressure on the county government to employ specific people whenever job vacancies crop up.
To employ those who went to court. You know, people participated in these things. There was public participation. But just because you want to be stubborn, you want to go to court. Courts are there, yes, to assist us, but let us not live in court because we will delay. Now we can't move with Webuye and Serisia. I mean Webuye and Chwele. I want to engage the member of we've engaged the member of the county assembly and the member of parliament to talk to those who went to court to withdraw so that we are able to move because we are going to delay. And it was a whole process to make sure that to get Webuye and Chwele.
John Matava, Lookuptv.
Residents of Kathiani and Matingili constituencies in Machakos County have expressed their frustrations over an unfinished bridge connecting Kathiani Market and Kakuyuni, describing it as a potential danger. Now, the bridge, which has been under construction for more than 6 months, has been rendered impassable due to its state, posing risk to hundreds of individuals who rely on it to access Kathiani town and Kakuyuni in Kangundo constituency for essential services.
Residents of Kathiani and Matungulu constituencies in Machakos County have expressed their concerns over an unfinished bridge connecting Kathiani and Kakuyuni Market, describing it as a potential danger. John Dambuki, a resident of the area who's able differently, lamented that he might not be able to fend for his family as he cannot cross the bridge with area residents, afraid with the onset of El Nino rains, which may render the road impassable.
Tangu ilipojengwa tulikuwa tunaona tulikuwa tunapiga makofi ile wakati inaendelea kujengwa. Sasa ilipoisha imekuwa ni kilio sasa. Sasa ukiangalia mahali tunapitia kando ile, pande ile ingine, yani shida mingi, shida kuongezea juu ya ingine. Kama ukiangalia pale wale wanamboda vile wanahangaika na wanateseka. Sijui niseme nini.
According to Kathiani Boda chairman Thomas Ombua, passengers are forced to alight and walk due to the state of the bridge, a move that hinders their businesses.
Tungeomba ni daraja ifunguliwe kwa haraka kwa sababu wakati kama huu mvua inakuja kunyesha. Tunaomba serikali ya county government ya Machakos wakuja wafungue hii daraja ndio watu wapate usalama wa mili yao. Kwa sababu kuumia ni kwingi, ukileta customer hapa ukifika unatoa customer anapitia pande hii ndio motorbike iteremuke ikiwa peke yake.
Ebikadenyi, Lookuptv.
Now, Bidco United registered a 2-0 victory against Bandari FC today on Monday at the Kasarani Annex. Bidco took the lead through Sharif Musa and Thomas Wainaina, who scored in the 22nd and 32nd minute respectively of the first half of the match.
Kutoelewana, pasi zilikuwa zendi mahali palipodhamiriwa, kulikuwa kuna movement yani nzuri mbele ili forwards, naona chances pia nafasi zimekuwa ngumu kutengeneza sababu movement yetu haikuwa mzuri mbele kwa wale ambao tulikuwa tunategemea kuna nafasi nyingi tumefanya kwenye mazoezi lakini haikuwezekana. Pia naweza kupatia Kongole Bidco ni kama ameipangia game vizuri sana na mpango umefanyika vizuri.
Bila nataka hivyo sababu ukiangalia last match tuliconcede bao naweza sema bao za kichali sana. But lazima tungerudi pale tuangalie ni wapi tuliconcede sababu tulifungwa mabao individual mistakes but kidogo ukiangalia level ya timu imecheza imekuwa a better team.
You just listened to Twahir Muideen, the manager of Bandari FC, with his team lying just 14th with 7 points from 6 games. You'd want to compare the Bandari FC who are donning the color blue, or jerseys colored blue, just like Chelsea were also struggling in the bottom half of the table. I don't know whether that is synonymous with the color blue. Now, The Kenya national men's football team, Harambee Stars, has arrived in Atlanta, Turkey today ahead of their international friendly match against Russia, which is scheduled for October 16th. Now, the Engine Firat-led squad will participate in the match as a part of their preparations for their group stage matches campaign for the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. Well, many thanks for joining us tonight. That story of, Harambee Stars traveling to Turkey to face Russia brings us to the end of this particular bulletin. To everybody who made this a success, led by my producer, Brian, director Orondo, Sean, Alvin, and Simon. Of course, together the digital desk led by Nasha Kagwa. God bless, and remember, even as you go to bed, that tomorrow we'll be bringing you detailed stories, or rather stories making headlines across the country, and of course even across the borders in the East African region, Africa at large, and even beyond our borders, even as we monitor the turmoil between Israel and Hamas. Now, many thanks. Do have yourself a lovely night, and like always, God bless.
We value your feedback and welcome your complaints about our programming and operations. Feel free to get in touch with us through 0700 893 542 or send us an email to info@lookuptv.co.ke.